Hi, this is Dr. Rebecca Wood, and this is our Week 6 lecture. This week we will begin our exploration of drama, and we will be reading and discussing William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Thinking about drama, we're all familiar with one form or another of drama, and I don't just mean drama in our families or personal lives. Drama could have been originally a religious experience. Some of the first Greek plays were about the gods and man and our relationships with them. And a drama is a story created by a writer, so it doesn't just come down out of the clouds. And drama involves a production guided by a director, so you have to have someone get the whole thing together and put it in a place and have people play the parts. There's a stage or screen in a movie theater. The characters are played by actors, sometimes played well by actors. There are costumes. The costumes give signals as to what type of character each character is. And then there are settings. And if you've ever participated in a production of any kind of theatrical event, you know that the settings can be complicated and take a lot of work, and also things can go wrong with them, which could cause unintended humor. Also, drama is intended to be produced for an audience, either a live audience or a theatrical audience in a movie theater. So as you start reading A Midsummer Night's Dream, you will notice that it could be a little challenging to read. It is very rewarding once you've gotten through a challenging work like this to realize all the things that you caught in there. There's lots of jokes and oddball things going on in this play in particular. And so helpful hints for making the most of your dramatic experience are to read the text at least once. And so just once is probably not going to cut it. Fortunately, even though our book, the Folger Shakespeare Library copy of A Midsummer Night's Dream, seems like it's got a lot in it, a lot of the material is actually helpful notes and information about what's going on in the play. So it's not as long as you think it is just looking at the book. Look up words and concepts that are unfamiliar. This actual edition here has a lot of the notes, hopefully all the notes that you will need to make your way through the play. And then there's editorial commentary. There's some historical information in there. I've also posted information I think will be helpful in our lecture and resources folder this week. And then also watching a film version of the story can help make it a lot easier to handle. And so hopefully everyone's got your film version. You can get those from Amazon. There's even some that you can stream and not even pay for them. Now, one thing about this play is there are some versions are a little risque, so you want to kind of watch the ratings on those if you don't want to watch something a little bit expressive or a little bit outside the norm of what you would see in daily life, and read the text a second time out loud. So have a little fun with it. This is a comedy, so this term we are not studying something like Hamlet where nearly everyone dies, and so this should be hopefully more fun than that. All right, so what are the critical elements of a play? What should we be looking for as we read A Midsummer Night's Dream? Characters. In this play, we have a quite large group or a quite large number of characters, and we can divide them into three groups. So think about your list of characters. Keep that list of characters handy so that you can write on it. You can take notes while you're reading the play. And then how do the costumes help keep the characters straight? So there are hints in the costumes and the way the actors wear them that can help you understand where you are and who you're watching or reading about at the time. For instance, the workmen are going to have different costumes and different language than the inhabitants of fairyland. And so if you intend to keep your helpful, inexpensive folder edition of A Midsummer Night's Dream, it would be very handy to take your notes and highlight groups of characters maybe in coordinating colors. For example, you could highlight Hermia and Lysander's lines or situations in blue and maybe save orange or yellow for Oberon and Titania's scenes. Settings. There are two primary settings for A Midsummer Night's Dream. The city of Athens, Greece, where the Duke lives and where his courtiers or the young people in the play live. And then there's a wood or forest nearby. And so what is the significance of the two settings? I would like you to think about that as you read. And how do these settings relate to each other? And interestingly enough, are there any characters who are only found in one setting or the other? And what might that mean? The plot. The plot of A Midsummer Night's Dream is fairly complex. So it begins with the upcoming wedding of Theseus, Duke of Athens, to the newly captured Amazon Hippolyta. And so Theseus's army has defeated the Amazon women, and so he is marrying their queen or leader. And so you might wonder how they seem to be so happily headed for marriage, considering that they've been at war very recently. And then in addition to that, we have some younger people having some issues. Hermia's father has betrothed her to Demetrius, but she loves Lysander, so she doesn't want to marry the man that her father wants her to marry. And in this play, we find out at the beginning what could happen to Hermia if she doesn't follow her father's wishes and marry Demetrius. And then we have her friend Helena, who loves Demetrius, but Demetrius loves Hermia and hates Helena. So we've got this kind of strange love-hate triangle going on, or quadrangle. And then Hermia tells Helena of her plan to run away with Lysander, and her best friend betrays her and her lover Lysander to Demetrius. So we've got lots of things going on, lots of conflict here. And then also we have some conflict in the land of the fairies. Oberon, the king of the fairies, and Titania, his queen, are having a major conflict. She has adopted a child that Oberon wants to raise as his henchman. And Titania has an entire retinue of fairies who put a spell on Titania's bower in the wood to keep her safe as she sleeps, and one lone fairy is standing guard. Well, obviously, if you've read that far, you realize that that is not all that effective. And then Oberon enlists Puck's help in gathering magical ingredients to put a spell on Titania so that she will fall in love with the first being that she sees upon awakening. So there doesn't seem to be any bloodshed ahead, but who knows? This is William Shakespeare. And then we have our 6 Athenian tradesmen who have decided to put on a play to honor the Duke and his bride at their wedding. And I can't imagine anything I would have liked less at my wedding than this play. And these tradesmen's play has been written by Peter Quince, a carpenter. And I can't help wondering from some of the comments they make to each other if Peter Quince is kind of a stand-in for William Shakespeare himself, or perhaps other playwrights who William Shakespeare did not respect. The play's title, the workman's play, is both pretentious and contradictory. It is the most lamentable comedy and the most cruel death of Pyramus and Thisbe. So, and then we have one of the actors, and this must be a fun part to play, Nick Bottom the Weaver, who is a sweet-faced man, a proper man, who Peter Quince believes is most suited to play the hero of their play, Pyramus. And as you read, you might want to see which part or parts Nick Bottom feels he is qualified for. And so this is our works cited. This week we do not have as many sources. We have one big source, and so I have documented my material from the editors of the book where I have quoted their information, and I also have William Shakespeare because he is the author of the primary work that we are reading and discussing this week. I hope we all have a great week and take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.